All right, we're going to move to the next part of our agenda, visitor statements. So I'll start over here first. Anybody like to speak to the board tonight? On this side? Okay, please come up. We won't bite. State your name and where you're from.
I'm Alex Evans from Riverside. Oh, I forgot my glasses. I'm glad to say that math team was able to be saved. Thank you, Mr. Tim Walsh, for your contribution to math team. And thank you to Mr. John Passarella for interviewing an Oak Park teacher and having them meet with the kids so they could get 2 weeks of practice before their competition. And math team would not have happened without Olga and Drillis and all the other parents having the determination to keep it going. I'm very sorry that Mrs. Goldberg and Mr. McGolgan had to be asked to retire at the end of this year. They're such talented teachers, and it shows by the admiration and devotion of their students. The music department at RB is one of the biggest assets this high school has to offer. You can't eliminate the classes that make RB stand out. RB is known for its superior music program, and it's something to be proud of. In my older daughter's graduating class of 2010, the top 10 students in their class were all involved in either band, orchestra, or choir. One of them got a full ride scholarship in math at Berkeley. One went on to Caltech. Music education has such a positive effect on the academic achievement in a high school. Music students have been shown to hold a higher grade point average than a non-music student at the same school. In the fall this year, the school board talked about how test scores were falling, and they were concerned. In a study I found online from the College Board Profile of College-Bound Students National Report for 2001, SAT scores of students who took part in music instruction surpassed students with no music training. Data collected from these students taking the SAT indicated that the students taking music averaged scores that were higher than the non-music students by 60 points on the verbal section and 43 points on the math section. In an article in the New York Times, researchers found an active music making, wait, let me slow down for a second. Researchers found active music making expands the brain. Researchers at the University of Münster in Germany reported music lessons actually enlarge the brain. An area used to analyze the pitch of music note is enlarged 25% more than those who never played an instrument. The findings suggest the area is enlarged through practice and experience. In justifying why music shouldn't have to take any more cuts this year, I have found a study that states music teachers are more cost effective. They teach more students. Band has over 100 students. So if a school eliminates that teacher, they need to be replaced by 4 classroom teachers. In an effort to save money by dropping the music program, school administrators will actually spend more to replace it. Students in countries that require music as a major component in the curriculum constantly rank higher in math and science scores. For example, Japan ranks among the top countries, while the United States ranks near the bottom of the Western countries. Japanese students receive strong music training in grades 1 through 9. More than half of them also study music privately. I think RB needs to look at problem solving and how to keep the academics, maybe even through grants. So thank you for your time.
Thanks a lot, appreciate it. Anybody else on that side? Please step up, sir. State your name and where you're from.
Chris Perry, LaGrange Park. First of all, I don't envy any of you for what you have to do. I have a daughter, Abby, who graduates this year. I think it's been a wonderful experience for her for the entire 4 years. She's grown, she's matured a lot of things. John, I have to respectfully disagree. We wouldn't be in this situation if we did pass a referendum. Not saying that's the answer, and not saying that we don't have to be cognizant of what cuts we make and where we spend money and what we do. I have a daughter in 8th grade graduating this year, coming to RB. I'm very concerned about the experience that Gemma will experience coming here to RB. I see what Abby went through, and Gemma made the comment to me tonight to where are you going? I said, I'm going to the school board meeting. And she said, Dad, I don't think it's going to be like it was when Abby was there, or when Abby's there. I said, Gemma, I don't know. I hope that you make the right decisions. I agree with the previous person who said the music program, it's done wonders for Abby. It's done wonders for everybody. I hope we look at everything as a whole. And the comment about the 80% cut for the salaries and benefits and such, I am in the benefits. I work for United Healthcare. But I understand how those things work and how they go up and the experience and everything that goes on with that. But I hope that it does work that way, and that you don't take one thing and cut it when other things can be cut significantly. I look at our sports. I love the sports. I think Abby was in cross country. She did great for her too, and being able to run and being able to participate with other team members and be on a team. I think those things are important too. But again, I think more important is the academic experience that they can have, and the music programs they can have, and being with the other students, and having a community that they can count on. You guys are the community here today. We're the community, you're the community. We're all the community, and we have to make the right decisions, and I hope those right decisions are made.
Thank you. Anybody else on that side? Okay, seeing none. Anybody on this side? Okay. You want to speak? Okay, I'm sorry.
Hi,
Okay, please state your name and where you're from.
Janine Wadalik from North Riverside. I just wanted to also mention that I have a junior and who has had a phenomenal experience here at RB. I also have an incoming freshman in the fall, and I'm very concerned when they talk about limiting the number of classes per day. Yes, I was a music major. Yes, I went through a referendum as a grade school kid, and it failed. And I never got those opportunities again. I never got to be on a volleyball team, never got to be on a basketball team, never got to be a cheerleader. When I got to high school, the band was still intact. If they shorten the number of classes that students are able to take, the students won't be able to participate in band and in dance and in music and art because there's so many hours per day. If they're going to compete with others in the world that have the same, opportunities, they won't have that. They won't have that experience. And if you can't experience new things in high school, how will you? Gina had the incredible opportunity to be on the diving team. She is not an athlete, but she had a great time. She learned a lot about working with others. She gets that on a daily basis with the music students. And I know because I go to accompany these kids at contest, and they're so supportive of each other. And the community that's built there is tremendous. I'm hoping that they are able to reinstate the spring musical, We, as a family, have enjoyed attending those productions, and it's not just the kids on stage. It's the kids behind the cameras. It's the kids backstage. It's the home ec classes that, that help design the costumes. It's such a great community effort, and I hope that continues, and I hope they'll, make those decisions very carefully when they talk about limiting, 6 or 7 classes. They did that at Morton, at my alma mater. And those classes are not going to come back. Those kids are not going to have those choices. They're not going to have that. It's not going to come back. If they make those cuts, I think we're shortchanging our students. And that's why our families decided to stay in this area. We have looked forward to sending our kids to RB for a long time. And like the gentleman who spoke before me, now I'm not so sure. My other children will have the same experiences. So we ask you as a community to, really consider all that RB has to offer for all the kids. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, anybody else on this side? Hi, please state your name and where you're from.
Hi, I'm Dahlia Lituvnikas from Riverside. Just echoing the previous comments made, I won't have any children at RB after this year. I have a sophomore in college and I have a senior this year. Both were very involved in the music program. One was very involved in music and athletics. I would just like to remind us all that music, arts, visual arts are not an extracurricular. They are part of the curriculum. Sports are extracurricular.
Thank you. All right, anybody else on this side? All right, seeing none, anybody on this side want to speak? Please step up. Hi.
Good evening. My name's Kathy Evans, and I'm from Brookfield. I have a daughter who is a junior here at RB, and she is not only involved in multiple areas of fine arts, she's also an athlete, and she also has a 4.3 grade point average. She's obviously going towards the end of her junior year, looking at colleges, and I can't tell you the number of college people that we've talked to that have just really emphasized the fact that she is sought after because she has a 4.3 grade point average, math, English, social studies, biology, whatever. She's involved in fine arts, and she's also an athlete. That's what RB gives our students and our community. I apologize, I'm getting over a cold. My concern as a parent, not only for my child, but for our community, as a community member, and I did send an email to the feedback email. I don't know who's reading those emails and if they're being shared with the entire board, which is why I'm here tonight to reiterate what I said in my email. I would like to urge the board to ask themselves a very important question before you consider cutting any of the extracurricular, whether you consider them extracurricular by way of they're an athletic and they're after school, or whether they're part of the curriculum but they're not, maybe math, science, English, history. Before you consider cutting anything of that nature, taking anything away from the kids, I urge you to ask yourselves, at what cost? If our kids are not running track after school, where are they? If our kids are not dancing on the basketball court, my daughter is a puppet. That's part of the athletics she's involved in. The pom and dance is often not considered a sport. Here at RB, it is a varsity sport, and effective with next year, the IHSA is finally acknowledging it as such. That's a great concern for me. She also dances with Mindy Haynes on the more theatrical dance. My concern as a parent is you take these things away from our kids, and where are they going to be? So what is it going to cost our community if they don't have these things available to them and we don't steer them towards healthy activities as parents and as administrators and faculty? Where do they end up? And that's what I say that's what I mean when I ask you, at what cost? So I urge you, I'd like to know, just for my own knowledge as a parent, how many of the board members are actually parents of current RB students?
Who's going to respond?
You are,
How many of the board
Somebody
members
responded.
are current parents of current RV students?
Or alumni. Some of us have had children
Ma'am, we
graduate.
told we don't
But I'm
want to
asking,
respond.
how many are current, how
Ma'am,
many
is-
currently have students here at RB?
We normally don't, the board doesn't respond to
Okay.
citizen
Okay,
comment.
I wasn't aware of that.
Not to be.
No, that's okay, I just wasn't aware of that. But that's where my concern is, you know, at what cost to the students, not only the current students, but the future students
Thank
and
you.
the community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else on this side want to speak? Seeing none,